I am Elena Smith, and I am one of the advisors for the McQueary College of Health and Human Services and the Student Success and Advisement Center. I'm going to review the nursing program in this first video, and then there will be another video that goes over how to plan a schedule. So let's get started with this first section on the nursing program. So the MSU Nursing Program is a 2-year cohort program, and this just means that when you start the program, you and the same group of students you start with will finish at the same time. You take the same classes every semester. There's no differentiation between you and your peers. So it will take you 2 years once you get started. There's no finishing early or later. It is an all-day commitment, so rather than kind of your pre-nursing right now where you can kind of build your schedule your own way, there's a lot less flexibility once you're in the program, so be prepared for that. They ask you to keep your schedule clear from 8 to 5 as if it was a full-time job. Please note, though, that clinicals can start as early as 6 a.m., so it's going to keep you busy once you're in the program. It is competitive entry, so not everyone who applies to the nursing program gets in. They look at 3 things initially when students are applying. They equally weigh these 3 things, so no one of them is more important than the other. They're going to be looking at your GPA, your TEAS exam score, and your experience. With GPA and TEAS exam, the higher your score, the better, and with your experience, the more varied your experience, the better. And we'll go into the details of that here in a second. When you apply, they will rank all applicants based on those 3 things, and then they will bring in top applicants for an interview. So not everyone who applies gets an interview, and not everyone who interviews gets into the program. The application has 2 different cycles, so you can apply in January and you can apply in July. People who apply in January are applying to start in the fall semester, and people who apply in July are applying to start in the spring semester. We have 56 seats available for both of those cycles, and January tends to be more competitive. You're looking at 100 or more applicants for those 56 seats. July, it's more around 75. That January application is a more traditional start time. Most students are looking to start the nursing program in the fall if they're on a traditional 4-year plan, which is why it tends to be more competitive. When you are applying, there are some things you need to make sure you've done. You need to be on track to complete all of your nursing prerequisites and general education courses before you would start the nursing program. When you submit your application, it's okay for some of your pre-nursing classes to be in progress, but they need to be done by the time you would start the program, and we'll take a look at what that means in the second video. You will also need to take the TEAS exam. So the TEAS exam, we'll get into details over that here in a second, but it is something that you take right before you apply. And then you'll also have to complete the actual application to which you'll attach your resume. You'll also attach your personal statement, but it's not as important as the resume, so we're going to stress the resume today. We encourage students to save $200 for their application. This is probably more money than you will need, but it will definitely cover 1 take of the TEAS exam, your application, and if you have a transcript or 2 that you need to submit, it would probably also go a long way towards a second take of that TEAS exam if you decide to take it more than once. Getting into the specifics on your coursework and GPA, you need to have at least a 2.75 GPA to apply to the nursing program. We always recommend that students aim for a 3.5 or higher. However, please note that if you do not have a 3.5, you should still apply. We always have students with less than a 3.5 get into the nursing program. I've even seen students between that 2.75 and a 3.0. Students are always just curious as to what they should shoot for, and because it can be very competitive, we say shoot for a 3.5 to give yourself a good shot at getting into the program, but that is not a guarantee that you will get a seat. You need to make sure all of your general education courses are completed and all of your nursing prerequisites are completed. We have shared with you a nursing checklist. On that checklist, all of the nursing prerequisites are listed, so let's take a look at that. These are the prerequisite coursework. You'll see that some have asterisks. These are classes that double as general education courses and nursing courses or nursing prerequisites. The ones down here without an asterisk, they will not meet a general education requirement. They are only classes that students take for the nursing program. Okay. For your nursing prerequisites, so all those classes we just looked at, you want to aim for a C or higher in those classes. They will only take a C or higher for those that were not also general education courses. The ones that are both gen eds and are a nursing prerequisite, you can technically get a C- in. Please note, though, that chemistry is a prerequisite for nutrition and for physiology, and you have to have a C or higher to take those classes in chemistry. So that's kind of a sneaky requirement. which is why we encourage students to just think of all their prerequisites as a C or higher. Another note, if all you are getting are C's in all of your classes, you will not meet the 2.75 minimum. C's across the board is a 2.0. So you will need a mix of A's and B's in there as well to be able to meet that 2.75 minimum GPA, but you need at least a C in these prerequisite classes. The TEAS exam is a test of essential academic skills. It is similar to the ACT or the SAT in that it tests you across 4 different categories. However, the content will be more rigorous because it is designed for allied health professions. There's no minimum score requirement as of right now. However, the higher your TEAS exam score, the better your chance of getting into the program. You can take it twice, but they will average your scores, so we do recommend that students study for it and only take it once. Your scores will expire after 2 years. So if you've already taken the exam, but it was more than 2 years ago, you will need to take it again. It is cheaper to take it through the MSU Testing Center. It's about $25, $30 cheaper. You can take it online through the TEAS website as well. You do not need to worry about this immediately, though. You want to wait until before you apply. When you've taken anatomy and physiology, that helps you with that exam. So it's helpful to at least have one of those classes done before you take the exam. Wait until right before you apply to take it. Experience. So that third thing that they're looking for, this is going to be detailed on your resume, so it's important to have a good resume that's easy to read, and they're looking for variety in your experience. So a student who has 200 hours as a CNA is not going to get as many experience points as someone who has job shadowing, has done some volunteer work, was a part of some clubs and organizations, maybe has some paid work experience that isn't even in healthcare. They want to see that you've done multiple things and are able to balance your time and schedule. So this can go all the way back to the beginning of high school, include all of the things. Even if they don't give you points for it, they're not going to penalize you for having something on your resume that they didn't end up giving you points for. So I highly encourage you to include any of your experiences that you have going back to the beginning of high school, and just make sure it is neat, easy to read. Go to the Career Center, get some support in putting together and organizing your resume. You can always meet with our liaison there, Rebecca Hall. She is well versed in what the nursing program is looking for, so I highly recommend working with them. So as a freshman student, things that I would encourage you to work on now: focus on your grades, focus on your classes. Are you getting a C or higher in the classes that you have to have a C or higher in? Are the rest of your grades going well? Are you getting that 2.75 at least for your GPA so you're eligible to apply? Go ahead and put together your resume so that you can look for any gaps in your resume, and you can strengthen your resume now while you have time ahead of applying. A lot of nursing students also apply to multiple nursing programs to increase their chance of getting into a program. This is not something every student does, but some students do want to just be a nurse as soon as possible, so they are applying to multiple programs to increase their opportunity of getting in as soon as possible. If you want to do that, I encourage you to research those programs now. They may have different prerequisites than us. They might have 1 or 2 different classes, so we can try to fit those into your schedule if possible. We also hold a nursing workshop each semester. When it's your turn to apply, I highly encourage you to attend the workshop that semester. We review the application, we go over resume tips, so it's very helpful. No need to attend before you're ready to apply, but be on the lookout for that when it's your semester.